Here's a DM tip. Start to consider failure. Things flow well when the PCs win. Heroes do heroic things and they get rewarded for being heroes. But what happens when heroes lose? Do you have a backup? Do you have a contingency plan? What happens when an intended fight becomes a moment of, oh hell no, followed by your PCs going from heroes to now becoming members of the Jamaican sprint team? What happens when the door of doom, which leads to the dungeon of doom, isn't opened? You have 13 pages of notes detailing the dungeon of doom, but you've overestimated the rogue's ability. The group couldn't get through the door. Your game is at a standstill. Or is it? Consider what happens when the dice go cold, when the PCs don't get it right, when they don't figure out your puzzle. Here's an example of what failure might look like and how to deal with it, which is to say, how to turn it into a positive, or at least a memorable moment. Round 1 of combat. The PCs approach the bad guy. It's a challenging fight, but as long as the life cleric is on their game, the PCs have a shot at winning. The group crosses a bridge. The rogue and ranger, they get across easily enough. The cleric steps lightly, which is actually the heavy crunch of plate mail boots on loose stone. One step onto the bridge, all is well. The rest of the group quickly waves the cleric across. The monster is approaching, and fast. The cleric does their best ninja warrior attempt, and bam, there it is, natural 1. But you have a backup plan. The cleric falls off the bridge, or at least is starting to. It's not elegant. The fighter is closest. Fighter dude, do me a favor, roll a dex save, I guess. Fighter rolls, natural 1. Okay, fighter, you reach out to grab the falling cleric and just miss his armored hand. Cleric, you roll a dex save. Acrobatics check, you've already failed. See, you're now falling, so see if you can catch something to undo your clumsiness. The cleric rolls 4. Adding dex, 4. Now what? Now here's a few backup plans. It's harsh to have the cleric die, but you warn the group about the chasms and bridges crossing to the boss. It's one of the features that made this encounter difficult. The enemies fly. The PCs don't. That's a thing. Number 1, consequences. The cleric dies. Or they take so much falling damage that they're basically just mashed potatoes at the bottom of the chasm, rolling death saves. Number 2, the cleric falls out of sight, but catches a ledge 40 feet down. A bunch of bludgeoning damage, but hey, the cleric is a dwarf. Merely a flesh wound. But the group's healer is now 40 feet down. Climb checks are an issue. It'll take a few rounds. The monster approaches, the group stands ready at the edge of the bridge, but without a healer. Number 3, you sort of hand wave it all. The cleric catches the underside of the bridge and will spend their next round getting to their feet, but otherwise continue as normal, mostly. Point is, consider something. Consider what happens when it goes bad. It can change the dynamic of the fight. If you don't consider it, and it does happen, you're caught off guard. Did you consider the challenge of this fight without the cleric? Did you consider the cleric dying and the player making a new character? Did you not think about it at all? Allowing the group to simply make it across the bridge with rolls being trivial because you know the outcome you're looking for. If you do this last point, doesn't the bridge and chasm lose its lethality? Isn't the threat of the environment removed if there's no chance of failure? Again, consider chance of failure. Respect it. It will happen. Before it happens, have a plan for it, some sort of plan. If you plan for it, you have an answer when the dice turn against the group. Allow the dice to do this. That's what rolling the dice is for. Learn to turn natural 1s into epic moments of gameplay. Sure, a natural 1 is a failure point, and sure, it's not as much fun as natural 20s, but I didn't say to turn natural 1s into fun moments. I said turn them into epic moments, memorable ones. There's good memories and bad memories, and each has tremendous value and is necessary in the grand journey of your time at the table. The good ones are what we hold on to. Same with life. The bad ones, they're a real thing as well, in-game and out of game. But they give the good ones perspective. Your group can't and shouldn't always win at the table. So long as you make losing something they can remember, losing will always sting. Just maybe not as bad.